Hello, we're still on section 5.2, and on this part of 5.2 we're going to talk about invoices and the kind of terms and terminology and things that you're going to be using to figure out how much you pay if you're in the discount period, how much you pay if you're in the credit period. And so it can get rather complicated. Now, I have a slide next to this where we can do some calculating based on the invoice. So if you print these out, I don't know what happened there. If you print these out, then you will have these slides side by side and you'll be able to see them that way. Now, if you look at the invoice, there's several different things going on. Some of the things that are important are the date of the invoice, which is 6/26/18. The terms, let's look at the terms. So here's what this is saying. I get a 4% discount if I pay in 15 days. So let me write this out. 4/15 means 4% discount if paid in 15 days. Okay. And then 230, and I think you can figure this out because of the 4/15, is a 2% discount if we pay within 30 days. Now, here's how this kind of works. On the first 15 days, you get a 4% discount. So from day 16 through 30, then you would get a 2% discount. You don't get to add them together or anything. It's just 4% the first 15 days, and then for the rest of the time until you get to 30 days, you get a 2% discount. And so if you pay after day 15 up through day 30, 2% discount. And then in 45 means that I have to pay, right, my net, I'm going to point out here, net in 45 days. And that means that you have to pay this invoice. It is due in 45 days. If you pay sooner, then you may get a discount, but you have to at least pay within the 45-day period. Now, on the next slide, we have some different things that we're going to find. One of those is the net amount due if we pay 10 days after the invoice date. And so that means that our net amount, and remember we're going to do all our calculating on this number 779.08 because we don't calculate with the shipping. The shipping we tack back on at the end, if that makes sense. Okay, so on the next slide, the net amount due if paid 10 days after the invoice date. And we get a 4% discount, right? 4%. We're going to take then 779.08 and multiply it by 0.96 because that way we get our discount, right? We're doing the shortcut using the complement, and that gives us an amount of 747.92. Then we have to add the shipping back on, right? This is shipping paid by the seller. And so we're the buyer and we have to pay them back. And then that total would be 962.92. So this is how much we pay if we are in that first discounted time, right? And that was a 4% discount. And then it says the net amount due if paid 25 days after the invoice date. Well, 25 days after means we're within the 30 days, so we get a 2% discount on this one. And so we take the 779.08, we multiply that by 0.98, our complement, right? The complement of 2% is 98%. And that gives us 763.50 plus our shipping of $215. So we pay $978.50 if we pay in within the 30 days. So we get that discount. Now, the last day of the discount period and the last day of the credit period. Well, our discount goes a full 30 days, right? It doesn't really matter which discount. We're just talking about how long do we get a discount for. So we're going to take the invoice date, 6/26/18, right? That's our invoice date. We are adding 30 days. And so if we pay, remember we're going to use the calculator for this. So you put in 6/26 on DT1, 6/26/18, put 30 days on DBD, and then compute DT2. When you compute DT2, you'll get the date 7/26/18, and that should make sense here. June has 30 days, so that's why it ended up exactly 7/26, and it was started as 6/26. And then the last day of the credit period, we would take the invoice date. How about 18 instead of 8? Yes. Add 45 days. Remember, it was net in 45 days, so when we pay the invoice, when we must pay the invoice, right? That is the end of our credit. So we don't have credit after that. If you're not paying for things, then they'll stop sending them to you. And so it is wise to pay the bills, right? And so we have to pay our invoice then. So we're adding 45 days. And the end of our credit is on August 10th, 2018. All right, so that was one type of invoice. Now there are different kinds of terms that we have to look at. So here's the next one. This one has a few things going on that we have to calculate. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the calculation, but we are going to look at this thing called receipt of goods. This means the credit period begins, let's see, this means the credit period begins the date goods are received. Yes, the date the goods are received. And so the date of the invoice is not what we'll do our calculating on this time. We're going to look at receipt of goods. When did they actually arrive? And this is just some terms that are used sometimes. So ROG, receipt of goods. This is one of those things that would be great to put on a note card to help you remember. Now, if we're going to calculate how much our net price is for the mangoes, then we would take 309.60 and multiply it by their series discount of 0.9, 0.95, and 0.7. Oh, I guess I could have put that down here on this line. And so that would give us 256.77. All right, so that was this calculation. And then we'll do the other one on the line below. We're going to take 5508 and multiply that by 0.8, the complement, and that gives us 4406. So 4406, well, I'll just put that here, 4406. I didn't really need to write it both places. Then our subtotal is going to be those two numbers added together, which gives us $300.83. Our total then is adding the $38 in shipping. So $338.83. Now we're going to use this receipt of goods on the next slide so that we can do some calculating based on this invoice, but it's also based on the receipt of goods date. Okay, so let's go over here. It says complete the invoice on the previous slide, which we did. If the goods were received on April 22nd, 2018, so we are using this date for our receipt of goods, right? That's when we actually got the goods. That's when we have to figure our discount period. And if you look back at the invoice, you'll see we get a 3% discount, right? 3/20. That was our discount. And then there was, that was the only discount. So we get 3% if we pay within 20 days. So the last day of the discount period is going to be April 22nd, 2018, plus 20 days. You can use your date function on your calculator again, and you remember you're computing DT2, the ending date. So if we add 20 days to April 22nd, we are at 5/12/18, right? That is the end of discount period, our 20 days. The end of the credit period, right? So that was net 60. And we're going to take our beginning date. No, not our invoice date. We're going to take our receipt of goods date and add 60 days. And that gives us June 21st. Remember, you can always pause so that you can actually figure this yourself with your calculator. And so you are actually calculating it along with me. The net amount due if the invoice is paid on May 8th. And so May 8th, let's think about this. Oh, that's in the discount period, you see, because the end of discount is May 12th. So we're going to take our $300 from the invoice, right? This was our subtotal, and multiply it by 0.97, because remember we get a 3% discount because we're paying within the discount period, and that is $291.81. And then we add back on the shipping. So if we pay within the discount period, we pay a total of $229.81. All right, so this is getting kind of long. I'm going to end it again, and then we'll have a third video for this lesson.